How are you ding-dong diddly doing there, gamerinos? Hope you're having a flanderific day. Hello there, Slicks. Oof, that's not working, and oof, I don't feel like fixing it. You don't need to gamble in today's episode anyway. So obviously we gotta talk about the attempted assassination of Trump. So I've been kind of waiting on this. Stop spinning, please. I've been kind of waiting to do this. Thanks, Slicks. Wow, what a guy. I've been waiting to do this episode because I've been waiting for an FBI report. The director of Secret Service to meet it before Congress, and she said fucking nothing. I watched it. She is a horrible, horrible piece of shit. What's her name? Kim Cheadle? Yeah. Just want you to know her name, so you know she's a stupid, horrible piece of shit. She basically just sat before Congress and was like, yeah, I know you all called me here to answer questions about this, but I'm not gonna answer anything. Sounds like a delicious ramen. There is nothing delicious about this woman, I can guarantee you. Okay, so we're gonna say, or actually, is it wrong to make this red wool where the stage would be? Nah, I think that's actually, it's pretty good. Or here, we'll use this. So we'll say this. Oof, Slick's got ads. Sucks to suck. We're gonna say that this is the stage here, and then the stands. What the hell? Oh yeah, there's a new update. I forgot. 5 of them to be exact. I thought he was the subscriber or whatever. Then this is obnoxious. Okay, we gotta get rid of all the mobs. Difficulty peaceful. Good. Oh my god, stupid stick drift. Okay, so you've got Trump here. You've got the stands here. You've got some more stands here. You'll be back? Okay. And then, like, there's gonna be some kind of fences around the side here. And then I believe it's over here. You've got this building. Well, because the whole point of the world is to... I don't think you understand what this video is, Slicks. I don't think you understand what this world is. So over here, you've got the building that has the snipers in it. Okay. And then, like, over here, this is, and we're not going to use his name because the media fucks up and gives these people too much credit. Like, why? Why would you say their name to make them really famous? No, we're going to call him Shitstick. So Shitstick is on this building here, okay? And then I want to say... Oh, I wish I had the graphic for this. See, because this is what made this so difficult. Is I couldn't find any of the pictures on Google Images from like a cursory search. It's like they're trying to make it very difficult for you to get any information on this topic, which is suspicious, and we're gonna go over why. But anyway, we'll just say that the building was here. Why not? So there's a water tower. And that's going to be a pretty big deal. Let me see if I can find a quick YouTube video that has the aerial view of the thing, so I can kind of recreate it a little bit for you, so that you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here. Again, I apologize, because oh, here we go. Okay, I got this a little bit wrong here. So if these... Okay, if these are the bleachers here... Turns out there's not bleachers in the front. I thought there were. It must have just been people that were sitting there. Yeah, so you've got the stage here. Then you've got another... We'll put this here. And then you've got another one that is roughly right here. So something like that. And then behind... Oh my god, the spinning. And then behind that... This was actually kind of a smart idea. Because that way I don't have to pull up all of these YouTube videos on my phone. Just so you can get, like, a picture of what I'm talking about when I can just... Okay, so the buildings are going to be a bit further back from the stands. But just... use your imagination a little bit. This is Minecraft, after all. So there's 3 buildings. Please stop. Please stop. Say one, like, is right there. And the other... It's like right here. Okay. Q, 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 Q. So those are those. Okay. So... I've got the, well, it should be a bit more over, I guess. Just make it a bit bigger, I guess, because it is kind of a big building. So, yeah, this is far more accurate. Okay. So this is where Shitstick was. That's the building where Secret Service is. And then behind the building where Shitstick is, there's another building. There's actually a whole mess of buildings that are back here. And you know what? Actually, to demonstrate that, I'm gonna make this really big. This is not to scale anyway, by the way. It's kind of windy. It's not this massive box that I'm doing, but this is just to show that this is a big building with a lot of roof space. Where one could feasibly, easily move around by getting on one part of the roof at a different point. So again, yeah, big complex back here, right? And this is the building Shitstick was on. Here, let me differentiate these two just a little bit. Just a little bit, okay? And something that's very important to keep in mind, because this will be coming up earlier, we're going to say that this building, is this tall, okay? It's this tall. Pardon my horrible building, I'm just trying to get a point across to you. So this building is about that big. This building, however, is about maybe that big. Yeah. For at least like that. Then it comes down a little. Then it comes down a little. Like maybe that. Okay. So you've got that idea. Now you've got some trees here. Trees. Okay. Now we've got okay, it's not that big, but well, actually, I think it would be taller than the building, the water tower. Okay? Yes, there we go. This is a fairly accurate, or at least as accurate as I can get it, map of what we're looking at here. So, true to scale 1000%, you're goddamn right. So, we're gonna have Shitstick. What is the most humiliating thing I can possibly put in the game? What can I make this guy? Oh, I know what I'll make him. I'll make him a poison potato. Because they're fucking useless. Miscellaneous foods? No. Where's the poison potato? Oh, here. Yeah, he'll be a pathetic slime ball. Boomer Ender Fat Man? What? What are you on about? Okay. So. Or actually... No, I think it would be... He would be here. Yes. Oh! Now, okay, we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay. So, this is Shitstick here. Right? He somehow gets onto this building. Oh, here, we'll go through the events that we know happened. So, before the rally starts, we'll say this would have been somewhere around here-ish. The people guarding the door, well, I guess they would be Secret Service? Yeah, Secret Service. Labeled this guy as a suspicious character because he was carrying around a rangefinder, which if you're not familiar, it's what, like, snipers or people who shoot use to, like, gauge the distance on something before they take a shot. So they thought it was weird, they said he was suspicious, and that they'd keep an eye on him. So anyway, he got away from the Secret Service, and then people in the stands, which I assume would have been somewhere around here, just saw him walking around right here. There's like a video, you can see he's just walking around. It's like, okay, alright, why the hell is he just walking around back here? And then, people see him walking around. This would probably be around here, or possibly over here, with a backpack, and he was just acting weird. And again, the police said he was suspicious and to keep a lookout for him. Okay. Next, he is seen. Now, I have conflicting information on this, so I'm not sure which is the case, and it's not like the government is being very forthcoming. If I'm understanding what this person was saying correctly. Let me see if I can find the YouTube video that I saw there, if you're interested in watching that for yourself. I don't know if I necessarily subscribe to everything that this person is saying. I believe it is... two shooters, or audio analysis is 100% clear. Trump and crowd were shot at, by Peak Prosperity. The title goes on, but I don't want to click on it and read it. You can check it out if you want. That should be enough information for you to find it. But anyway, he's seen on the roof, on his belly, with a gun, crawling into position. And that's when people on the ground start pointing at him, saying, hey, there's a guy with a gun on the roof. He's up here. Hello, Secret Service, police officers, he's up here. Okay. So, I guess they radioed in, and nothing was really done about it. I'm sorry, this is the point where one officer, a police officer, not a Secret Service agent, gets on top of another officer's shoulders, and he climbs onto the roof to take a look at the shooter, who then points his gun at him, and the officer falls, not wanting to get shot, obviously. And that is when Shitstick starts taking the shots. And then that is when the... then you had the one that hits Trump's ear, and it goes back, and I believe, and I could be wrong on this, but I'm hearing reports, and again, take this with a grain of salt, because we don't really know a whole lot on this matter, but it would appear that the bullet that hit Trump's ear might have been the same one that killed Corey. Again, I could be incorrect on this, but that I have heard that somewhere. And then there were, I believe, depending on who you listen to, there are 9 to 10 shots, but they're not telling us how many shots there were. They're not showing us casings, nothing. It's very hush-hush. So, let me go ahead and look through my list and see if there's any other facts. Okay, here's another fact. We know for certain that the Secret Service did not have aerial or dogs deployed at all. So no drones, no bomb-sniffing dogs, Nothing. Okay? We also know that Secret Service had denied the Trump campaign's request for more, like, security. Apparently multiple times. And the Secret Service had lied about refusing to give the Trump campaign what they needed. Oh, and then of course, you know, Trump gets shot, he goes down, the Secret Service agents jump on him, he breaks out, he does the fist in the air, and then he is taken off into the car. That would be, I guess, the finalization of all the facts, of everything that we know for certain. Oh, he had a bomb in his car. A remote-controlled bomb. We also know that the Secret Service named this building here the top the number one priority area. Sorry. We know that the majority of the snipers were Secret Service, while one of them, one of the teams was police. We know that Shitstick lived an hour away from Butler. The FBI can't access his phone, social media accounts. I guess they've been deleted and can't be brought back. Secret Service was initially blaming police. We'll get into that in a second. Or actually, let's get into it now. So the Secret Service have, I believe it is a 200-foot radius in a circle, basically, to make sure that, you know, the area around the president is safe. So it would look something like this, okay? Something like this. So, apparently, the Secret Service's map, if you take a look at it, is a Pac-Man. It goes perfectly around in a circle like this, right? But then, as soon as it gets over to this building, it does this. And then it goes all the way around. Like that. No kidding. As a matter of fact here, we're going to go ahead and make this yellow so that you can see the Pac-Man circle. We'll say this is it here. Then it did right around here, it did one of these. Just like that. So it's a little fucked up, but basically, yeah, I really fucked up this just because I didn't want to go out any further. But this is more or less what you're looking at for the Secret Service security grid around Trump at that Butler event. Now, I know that mine is clearly a little fucked up around here and just in general, but why the fuck is there this Pac-Man right here? Like, this just perfect little slice that this building falls in, and they were just like, nah, that's the police. Remember when I said they tried throwing the police under the bus? They said that this Pac-Man corner, this little pie slice, was supposed to be patrolled and guarded by the police. The only thing is, the police said we told them we couldn't cover that, and we sent that to them, and they never got back to us, and they never looked into it. And it's ultimately the Secret Service's job to guard the president, or, well, I mean, I guess he was the president at one point, so yeah, the president. So, yeah, the buck stops there, in the words of Miss I Guard Cheetos. We know that... yeah, this is another thing I wrote down, that the Secret Service blamed the police, that it was their jurisdiction, but Secret Service is supposed to oversee the whole thing, so it's a nothing burger argument. We know that the shit stick had 2 phones, which is strange. We know that Dipstick was looking into the DNC, Joe Biden, members of the royal family, and various other people. We'll get into that a little bit later, possibly. Bags, weapons, bicycles, and various other things are never allowed at Trump rallies. I feel like that's an important fact to get out. Channels are getting strikes on them for footage used. An example of this would be Nerd Report. His channel got striked for using footage from the Trump rally. So that's a little suspicious. I'd like to bring that up. CBS reports that he has multiple offshore bank accounts. The Shitstick does. Shitstick was in a BlackRock commercial before the shooting, and it's not like there were very many people in this. Yeah, okay. And here we've got a little bit of a timeline, which someone should give Kim Cheadle, since apparently she doesn't fucking have it. And she's the director of the Secret Service. So here you go, Kim. At 5:10, he was spotted as suspicious. At 5:30, he was spotted with a rangefinder. At 5:52, he was spotted on the roof by Secret Service. At 6:02, Trump takes the stage. At 6:12, first shots ring out. There you go, Kim. You're welcome. So they spotted him at 5:10, and they thought he was suspicious, and they didn't detain him for about 42 minutes till he was spotted on the roof by Secret Service and they let Trump onto the stage 10 minutes after he was spotted on the roof with a gun. Okay. So, now that we've got all the facts out of the way, we need to start getting into the questions. And, oh my lord, do I have so many questions. 1. Why was there not Secret Service on top of this roof? That is the question on everyone's mind. And according to Miss I Guard Cheetos for a living, DEI hire Secret Service director, it would be because the roof was too sloped. Even though the roof slope was probably... You know what? Let's do this. Let's have some fun here at Kim Cheadle's expense. Just to make her look even more like a jackass. So, the roof slant was probably something like this, okay? You seeing what we're dealing with? Probably something like that. Now, the sniper's roof... no, that's way too high for this building. This building is more comparable in size to the other one, the smaller one. So we'll just say the roof slant on this one was more like this. I think we're closer. So the snipers were set up on this much of a slant. But this much of a slant was just, too much. It was a real safety concern. The other thing I'm seeing is that police didn't want to be set up there because it was too hot. Now, police, that's fine. They shouldn't be as well staffed and as well trained as the Secret Service, so it would be understandable that the Secret Service, especially considering they're supposed to be overseeing this entire operation, should be set up right here. Right here. With just the perfect line on Trump. So, I still have not heard a decent reason as to why there was no Secret Service on this roof. Because one would think... and it's like, you see this in the movies, which is what makes it ridiculous. You'd be like, hey, Jimbo, copy, this is Billy Bob. Billy Bob checking in. Post 3, do you hear me? Like, come on, this is first grade. You check to make sure everything is secure beforehand. You have communication. I just don't understand that. Next, if you're not gonna have someone are on top of the building, why don't you have someone around the building? Now, I've heard that the police officers were set up in one of these, or what are gonna be police? Oh, yeah, these will be the police. 'Cause boys in blue. Okay. So they were supposedly set up in this building, I think. could be wrong on this, but I think they were set up in this building. There's a lot of confusion because Kim Cheadle is throwing out so much misinformation. Again, real piece of shit. Makes it so difficult to understand what's going on here. But why were there no police officers outside of and inside of this building? The one that, again, has just that perfect overlook. Right there. Next question is, how did someone sneak a gun within 100 to 200 feet of Donald Trump? Okay, this should be pretty... like, we shouldn't be talking about this. Like, okay. This is the Secret Service here. This is supposed to be some of the most elite people out there. They're guarding the president, right? How did someone... Okay, because... Now, we're not... Again, thanks to Kim Cheadle for being a ginormous sack of shit and giving us no information. We don't know where Shitstick parked his car. Okay? But we know that he would have at some point had to have walked across the field at some perspective, because I believe there's a parking lot out here, maybe, or something. I don't know, because again, dumbass Kim Cheadle won't tell us. But he would have had to have walked out with a rifle and a ladder over to the building. Because I don't know if I mentioned that. He bought a ladder the day of the incident. And, oh, don't worry, we're going to get into the ladder. Because I've got way too much to say about ladders in this episode. I'm going to sound like a lunatic. But he would have had to have walked across the field with a ladder and a gun. How did no one see him until he was up there on the building? My next question. We obviously know that both police and Secret Service, based on videos that we have that have been released, we know that both of them knew that this shooter was up here. Why was Trump allowed to take the stage at all? Because you think that if you heard, oh, there's a guy with a gun setting up in the perfect spot to shoot the guy that I'm supposed to be protecting, would you allow him to go out onto the stage? No, you wouldn't, because that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Next is, why did the sniper not take the shot? Now we know that the sniper, the police sniper, made contact, or, well, not contact, but made eye contact, I guess, with Shitstick, who was looking at them in the rangefinder, and they thought that that was weird. But they didn't do anything about it. They had to have seen him with the gun at some point, too. And then obviously there's the people on the ground. Now, the people over here wouldn't have heard the people who are, like, over here. Because, again, this is a lot of distance. You have to, well, not a lot, but a fair amount of distance. It's not this close together. Again, you got to use a little bit of the imagination with this diagram I've drawn. But the police officers who were over here had to have radioed in the Central Command. And they saw him. So why didn't they take the shot until after he started shooting? Would be my next question. Okay, I guess this is kind of the same question. Why did the Secret Service and police not do anything after being notified about the shooter? Yeah, I guess I'm kind of beating a dead horse on that. That's the same point, more or less. Because again, we've got the video. They're like, oh, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. Another point I'd like to make. Remember how I said earlier there was the two police officers that boosted the... Or there's the one police officer that boosted the other police officer up, where he was like dangling on the roof to get a look at this guy? Why did he do that? Because now think about this logically, right? So let's say they couldn't see him, like right here, right? And you wouldn't be able to shoot him either from right here, right? But there are these people who are over here who see this guy and are like, hey, there's a guy with a gun who's on the roof. So if you could see him, and you could, I saw the video. You can go and watch the video. There's tons of YouTube videos where you can find it. You can clearly see him from the ground, and you've got a good like angle on the guy. Why were Wingus and Dingus doing this over here? Almost getting himself shot. Well, what did he hope to accomplish? Again, I can't even be like, oh, well, he wanted to make sure he had a gun in his hand. Because you could tell from down here that he had the gun in his hand. So I don't know. I don't understand what the man was trying to accomplish. Why didn't the Secret Service do a better job body blocking for President Trump? So, obviously Trump was trying to fight his way out to do the whole shaking his fist thing. But you don't let him do that if you're the Secret Service. Like, first of all, you've got a DEI hire. Well, it could also... We're going to get into this in a little bit, too. You've got this DEI hire Secret Service agent who's like 5 foot something, and you've got Donald Trump who's 6 foot like 3 or something like that. And it's like, how is this tiny-ass woman physically supposed to body block for a man that's a foot taller than her? That doesn't make any sense. She could have been literally anywhere else doing anything else. She could have been a sniper. She could have been a sniper. Maybe she's a really good shot. And you know what? Good on her for being a whammon that can do a traditionally manly job. Good on her. But when you need her to be at least 6'3", that's not something where you can be like, oh, I've got so much estrogen, it doesn't matter that I'm not a man. It's like, right, I'm hearing you, but you're not tall enough to ride this ride, ma'am. I don't know. And then they took forever to actually get him into the motorcade. It was embarrassing. And then you had the DEI hire who couldn't even holster her gun. She had problems holstering the gun. It was embarrassing. I kind of talked about this earlier, but they refused to give Trump a full presidential package detail. This is something we need to talk about. The rules of engagement for Secret Service. They do not have to wait for the person to shoot in order to shoot that person. They do not have to wait for an order to shoot somebody. Okay? Now, it's better if you get the order to shoot them, but you're allowed to make your own decision if you're a Secret Service sniper. You could, lose everything if you make the wrong call, but you're absolutely allowed to make that call. Make no mistake about that. Which I've seen some people saying, oh, maybe they were ordered to stand down. That's not the way that works. Oh, I missed a few. I missed a few facts. I'm sorry. I already said why were there no drones, right? No aerial support. Why was there no aerial support or no bomb-sniffing dogs? Well, if I didn't, I said it now. Why was that not there? One of the facts that I forgot to leave out is that Shitstick was a registered Republican, but he donated to a very, very liberal organization called Act Blue, and it was right after Joe Biden was elected. Now, I wanted to save all theories till the end, but theory on this one, I think the reason that Shitstick was a registered Republican was not in fact because he, was a Republican or at all liked Donald Trump. The reason he was a registered Republican, in my opinion, is because Pennsylvania is a closed primary state. And what that means is if you want to vote for a candidate of a party in a primary, you have to be a part of said party. So only Democrats can vote in a Democratic primary. Only Republicans can vote in a Republican primary. In the Republican primaries, Nikki Haley was a pretty big figure, and it's my belief that the only reason he was a registered Republican was so that he could try to primary out Donald Trump by voting for Nikki Haley. Okay. Excellent. Now I've got that out of the way, because I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, he's some Republican who feels left behind by Donald Trump. But it's like, no. No. He tried to primary out Donald Trump. That's what was happening. Okay, so we've already talked, well, in the facts section about how he was part of a BlackRock ad. But I have also heard reports, and I'm not seeing this as much as I was before, so this could be disproven, but I haven't seen anyone come out and say that this is absolutely not true, so I'm going to bring it up here with that caveat. I have heard reports that he was associated with Antifa. Okay, and if you don't know Antifa, I think it's registered as a terrorist group now, just because they do so much crazy shit. But yeah, he was affiliated with them, as well as BlackRock, which is like this international trillion-dollar corporation that has stakes in like everything in like every country. If you're not familiar with BlackRock, look into them and be terrified. Yeah, because you think like people like George Soros and Donald Trump and I guess even Elon Musk to a certain extent. Like, you think these people have money. Whew. BlackRock, though. Okay. So, I get a bunch of conflicting reports on what kind of person Shitstick was. Okay? You've got classmates going out and saying that he was this loner who was bullied because of his military clothes, I guess. So I guess like camo. They made fun of him for wearing camo, I guess. But then you've got people like the school guidance counselor who are saying, no, he wasn't a loner, it's just his friends didn't have the same lunchtime as him, and, you know, if he was bullied, he would have known about it, and all of this shit. So I can't really make hide or hair of any of that, and it seems like they really want him to be this loner, just real, your typical shooter type. That is what they are really pushing for here. And I don't know. I don't know. I will say there have also been reports that he joined the school shooting team, but, or tried out for it, but he was such a bad shot that he did not make the team. However, the school shooting team reports that he never tried out for the team. So again, anything that you hear like about him as a person, I don't think you can trust any of those sources, because I don't know if any of them have him right. And I guess he made frequent contributions to Act Blue. So, a day after the attempted assassination, the Secret Service held a press conference and refused to answer any questions about the attempted assassination, which is pretty much what jackass Kim Cheadle did during the congressional hearing today. She answered no questions whatsoever. She needs to go back to guarding Doritos. She's a loser. Former Pepsi mall cop, head of the Secret Service. Oh yeah, let's talk about the Dorito guarding Kim Cheadle for a second. So she was formerly the head of security at Pepsi, hence all the jokes. And before that, she worked as a Secret Service agent. And we'll get to that. We'll get back to that in a little bit, because I found something very interesting about this. My next question, and I know this is supposed to be the section of questions, and I haven't been asking questions in a while, but we're finally back to it. How was he able to make bombs. Okay, not only bombs, but remote-controlled bombs. That's not something you can just, oh, I'm smart, so I can just do it, you know. Maybe if he made like a pipe bomb or something, I'd be like, okay, he could reasonably figure out how to do that. But a sophisticated, and I was listening to a former, I think he's Green Beret, and he's a specialist in bombs, because you kind of have to be for the job. And he was saying that in order for you to make a bomb with a remote detonator, you would need a blast cap. Making a blast cap, from what I understand, is very difficult, because it's highly explosive, and I think he was saying on top of that, just the engineering that you would need to know to do all of this successfully, you couldn't just figure out on your own without a little bit of help. You know, without like blowing something up. So he had to have either looked it up or had help. But like I said, there's no search history on any of his devices that FBI can find thus far. I find that to be very suspicious, and we'll be back to that later. Okay. I have to bring this up because, again, people keep trying to say that he was this Trump reporter, or did I solve the conspiracy? Far from it. We still got so much to go still in just the basic. I haven't even gotten into any conspiracies. I'm just getting through the questions and the events. We haven't even got into conspiracies yet, man. But again, I have to mention this because people are saying that it was staged, which is just the stupidest shit I've ever heard. I watched a couple of videos by gun experts who are basically saying like, oh yeah, you can try that if you want, but basically there's a decent chance that you're gonna get your head blown off if you would try to stage that. Like, it doesn't work the way that you think it does, where it's like, oh, I've got the laser on his ear and I'm gonna shoot his ear. Like, the slightest fuck up with that, and again, dead. Not to mention that, like, people died. Okay. Trump is not... Okay. I also need to dispel this very, very stupid conspiracy theory that Trump planned this. Okay. So I want to remind everybody that Donald Trump is leading Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in every poll in every swing state, except for maybe a couple in Minnesota, okay? Why would he need to do something this dramatic? We're literally four people, including himself, 5 people, including Shitstick the shooter, where 5 people could have died, including himself. That just it doesn't make any sense at all. Like, at all. Like, please, if you believe that, you need to think critically for a second. Please. Okay, but anyway, like I was saying, I need to to go ahead and dispel the theory also that just because Shitstick was a registered Republican, that, you know, he's not like some MAGA guy. Oswald strikes again. Yeah, no, that was some stupid shit. I've seen some other people say that too. But yeah. He had a support trans kids sign in his window, and that to me, and this is, again, this is allegedly. Allegedly. I think there is someone with either the first or last name Oswald, maybe Patton Oswald or something like that. Again, I could be wrong. I don't really remember. I try not to keep up with all the fools making foolish remarks. But I think he was saying that it was staged or something ridiculous. But yeah, there was the support trans sign allegedly in his window on, I think it might have been Google Maps. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've heard that, and I haven't heard as many people bring that up. But I just need to put that in, again, with the caveat that that might not be true, but also with the caveat that if that is true, that doesn't... it don't fit, okay? It don't fit with the theory. Quagmar's useless naked scene strikes again. Please, no. He can giggity his pants on. So something else that I want to mention. So before I had originally written this down before I realized that this building is supposedly guarded by cops. But this water tower is not guarded by anybody. Okay. And I feel like there were some other buildings that were like back here. Yeah, there was a building that was like back here, right? That I want to say was even taller. Yeah, there was something like on par with the watchtower, and this building was also left unguarded. And take a look at that. Again, this isn't entirely accurate, but you can still see how you would be able to have a good line on Trump. And again, the height on this building isn't entirely correct, and the heights on everything isn't entirely correct. But you can still get that impression that I'm showing you here. The Secret Service named this building the #1 priority area right here. And they left it unguarded. I would like to know who specifically were all the snipers and who specifically shot Shitstick. It's 1000% true to scale, I thought. If you want it to be, I guess it is. Oh my god. This is a huge point that I've seen no one bring up. How did they identify Shitstick? Because they have his name, but like I said, I'm not going to say his name. But they got his name back within hours from DNA testing. Okay, so how did they have his DNA? Like, I understand that when his head got exploded like a fucking watermelon, and he happily provided all of his DNA on the roof. But what did they match that DNA with? Because unless you've committed a crime and he had no criminal record at all, how did the government figure out it was him from a DNA test within an hour? Okay, maybe I'm missing something, but that just seems incredibly sus. Like, oh, okay, yeah, we know that you're not in any of our databases anywhere, but we took some of your brain juice off the roof, and it says it's you. It says it's you, even though your name and DNA are not in any of our records, or shouldn't be, at least. And also, if you're familiar with true crime like I am, you'll know that DNA testing takes a while. So how did they get it back so fast? I feel like those are two really good questions that I'd like answers to. This isn't really a question, but more of a statement. The snipers that were over here on this roof, again, they locked eyes with Shitstick. They knew what was going up. Why didn't they take the shot? Because like I said, they clearly knew what was up. And there's like no reason that they shouldn't have taken the shot. I also find it to be interesting that the shooter seemed to know the area really well, because he was like an hour away. He lived an hour away from Butler. So I don't understand how he should have any edge over Secret Service. It's not like this was his backyard or something. This should have been more familiar to Secret Service than him. So again, I that makes it even worse that he was able to, again, a 20-year-old was able to outsmart the Secret Service. So there's that on top of it. Why wasn't he detained when he was first noticed with a rangefinder and a backpack? Because again, as stated back in the facts segment of the video, we know that Trump rallies don't allow bags, weapons, bikes. So why was he not detained for having a backpack and for having a rangefinder, which snipers and gunmen use? And a follow-up question would be, how did Secret Service lose him? Because they said they were going to keep an eye on him, but clearly they didn't keep an eye on him. How did they lose him? And a follow-up question to that follow-up question is, where did he go when the Secret Service lost them? What was he doing? What was he up to? He distracted them with the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. I mean, it's not stupider than anything else I've heard. Oh, here's a fun little factoid for you. So remember the Pepsi mall cop who denied Trump the full presidential package? Yeah, that woman is a big friend of Dick Cheney. Used to be his Secret Service agent. Good friends with the Cheney family. Keep that in mind for later. Yuck! That's a surprise tool that we'll use later. Oh boy. The shooter worked at a nursing home. Okay, that's, I guess, another fact. I'd be interesting to know if the nursing home had any connections to BlackRock. Oh, here's another fact that I find to be particularly disturbing. So, about an hour before the shooting, Shitstick's parents called police to report him missing. Okay. So, okay, Slicks. Let's say, you live with your brother-in-law, right? Right, Slicks? Am I correct in saying that you live with your brother-in-law right now? Okay, well, we're gonna assume that Slicks lives with his brother-in-law. So, if Slicks' brother-in-law just, I don't know, went out someplace for an hour, would you go and call the police to report him missing? I don't see, there's no reason why the shooter's parents would have called the police to report him missing after only being gone for an hour, as if they knew something was up, if something was not right. There's no other explanation. Because again, he's a grown-ass man who, again, has only been gone for an hour. And it's not like they have ever done this before, from what I can tell. So why this time? What was said? What did they know? I feel like that's something that needs to be looked into way more. We already talked about how the shooter was looking into the DNC. He had 2 phones. I've also heard that while bags are never supposed to be brought to a Trump rally, they were allowing people to bring in bags, and people weren't doing anything about it. The Secret Service weren't doing anything about it. Why don't we know exactly how many bullets were fired and exactly what caliber it was? So if we go back to the roof here, it's very shallow. It's not it's not a steep slope. Cusco's poison? What? I have no idea what you're talking about, Slicks. But anyway, this is not a steep roof. It's pretty flat, despite what Kim Dorito would like you to know, to think. So we should have all of the casings. Like, it's a pretty big roof. It's way bigger width-wise than what I've shown here. For the bullets, for like where he was at, which was right here. This is where he was shot. The Shitstick was shot. So the bullets would have ejected out to the side here and would still be on the roof, or at worst case, they would have rolled 20 feet or something like that. Like, it's a big roof. Off the side and immediately right down here. Like, they would be easy to find. So why don't we have all of this information? Is from Emperor's New Groove. Just typing nonsense while you're talking about something serious. Talked about the offshore bank accounts. Oh. So, actually we'll wait on that because that's kind of conspiratorial. According to whistleblowers, some agents weren't even Secret Service, but were part of DHS who aren't familiar with Secret Service protocols. Bank account... Oh my gosh, well, we are going to get into some banking stuff in a minute. But yeah, that's suspicious as hell. So, on top of this, I haven't even mentioned this yet. The FBI was reporting there was a credible threat on Trump's life by Iranians. Okay? So during this time, they apparently beefed up Trump's security, quote unquote, with these DHS agents who don't know the Secret Service protocol, which is why some of them looked freaked out when shots started ringing out. They didn't know what the hell to do. Okay. So that's also incredibly suspicious when we start getting into the conspiratorial part. I know, this is an hour and 17 minutes in, and we're still getting in questions and facts. Okay, so this has been debunked, kind of, I think. So there's this guy, Stephen Gardner, and I was watching his video. Well, I guess here, put that on pause. There have been reports, there's a video, actually, of the attempted assassination, and you see this woman in a black MAGA hat with a Trump sign, and she keeps staring off into the direction of the shooter, right? But she shouldn't know the shooter is there, because, again, the shooter is here, and she is roughly right here. She's like in the first two rows. You can see her, like, when Trump is right here. But anyway, she keeps looking over like this, right? And then she kind of like slinks down before the shots, covers her face with a Trump sign, then the shots ring out, and she like drops the sign, and there's a camera, or like her phone's camera, to record, and people were saying that she looked like an FBI agent, but according to this Stephen Gardner, this is not the FBI agent people thought that she was. But I still feel like mentioning it because it's weird. I don't know. It's gonna go down as the babushka lady of the Trump case. If you're not familiar with the babushka lady, you are not into conspiracies enough. But yeah, it's weird. You can look it up. I guess you would look up Trump rally, Trump rally FBI agent or something, even though she's not an FBI agent, because this Stephen Gardner has found her and wants to get her on the show, well, his show. So, does she have an Auschwitz bank account? Maybe. We need to talk about the ladder. So there's... Where the fuck are ladders? What the hell? Oh. Okay, so there's this ladder, right? And it's this real big, real obvious ladder. Now, dumbass purchased a ladder, a 5-foot ladder that day, right? From Home Depot. Now, I can't make hide nor hair of this ladder that's seen in the pictures, because I believe it's too tall to be a 5-foot ladder. Though I have heard one, and it's only been one, video YouTuber who said that when she looked up 5-foot ladders for Home Depots in the Butler County area, the 5-foot ladder she found was the same ladder from the picture that was not a 5-foot ladder. So I don't know if this ladder here is the one that dumbass bought, if this ladder was brought by the police, and it was just taken in the picture, and people are thinking that, oh wow, that was the ladder just because the police left it in the picture. I don't know. And it's confounding, because if that was the ladder he used, how the fuck did he get that ginormous ass ladder over to the building? Like, out of his car, across the parking lot, through the field. I don't get it. Where did this ladder come from? How did it get there? How did he get a ladder over there? Okay? So, this could be the same one he bought, or this could be a second ladder. I don't know. Because some people are saying that he used his smaller ladder to climb onto an AC unit back here and kind of make his way along the roof, which, as you can see right here, would not have been that serious of a movement. So yeah, there's the ladder. Next question I have is, did he hide the gun, or did he bring the gun with him the day of the attempted assassination, or did he have someone else bring him the gun? Because again, it's just inconceivable that this guy would walk through the parking lot with the gun, through the field with the gun, climb up the ladder with the gun, and no one see him until he is up here. I think girls were looking at his pants like, yeah, they're more like, where is it? There's nothing here. It's tiny. Microscopic. Yeah, I'd also like to confirm that the shooter had an incredibly tiny inverted penis. So, like to get that entered into the record as well. The Secret Service didn't even speak to surrounding property owners. So this is the property here, right? This is the property, right? Well, let's say over here, this is someone else's property right here. And right here. Like all around. People own the land around this area, and Secret Service did not speak to them. What if these people hated Trump and wanted to set up some kind of similar assassination plot? They wouldn't know about it because they wouldn't have asked. They wouldn't have scouted out the area or anything. Like, how we thought the same thing but said it differently. Yeah, well, you know, this is a cap-free zone, so I gotta get rid of the cap. The shooter had a drone that he flew over the area the day of the attempted assassination, but the Secret Service didn't. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm gonna bring it in. Again, I'm gonna enter it into the record with the, with the thought in mind that, again, this could be untrue, not proven, but, the rally spot apparently was changed at the last second. Like, it may not have supposed to have been here, and it was changed to here at the last second. Again, I can't confirm that. So yeah, but I also want to bring it up because that is a potential possibility. We'll have to see if Secret Service or the FBI actually ever gives us anything. Apparently the DHS trained at the exact same range as the shooter did. That's suspicious as hell, and I'll get into that more later. And finally, why didn't the officer who fell off the roof discharge his gun into the ground as a warning? Because obviously if people heard shooting, Trump wouldn't have gone on stage. Don't know. Don't know. Don't know. Okay. Now we get to go into the conspiracy angle of all of this. So we have talked about all of the facts. We've gone over all of the questions. Okay. I guess the first thing I want to talk about is the second shooter theory. So I've seen two different videos. One says that there's a guy who's up here on the water tower. And there's a video where you can supposedly see someone duck out from underneath the water tower. I think that's just shadow. I don't think there's anybody on the water tower. There's supposedly pictures of police cars next to the water tower, but that's just perspective. They're not actually next to the water tower. And people in the stands claimed that there was shooting coming from the water tower. However, I'm going to say that they may have been mistaken. Because, again, it's a big hectic moment, a lot of adrenaline. Eyewitnesses are rarely correct in these instances, so yeah. I don't necessarily think there was a second shooter in the water tower. The other one I saw was that someone was shooting from a window that would have been like roughly here. Now remember when I put this green block here and I said that the trajectory lined up more with the green block than the red block where the shooter had his head blown open like a fucking watermelon? This is why I put that there. It's because someone is saying there was a second shooter inside this building, which is why some of the shots sound different. We'll get into that in a second. Or actually, let's get into that now. Let me just find this. So, Dumbass was found on the left side of the building, and on the right side is where the shots supposedly line up better, and that was part of that one video I was talking about earlier. Where they were talking about different sounds on the bullet. audio analysis is 100% clear by Peak Prosperity. I believe that's the same video. But yeah, if you listen to the audio, it sounds, the first few shots sound like it comes from one gun, and then the camera kind of changes, the perspective of the camera kind of changes, so the next like two sound a little different, and I think that would be the same gun, but it's different because of the camera perspective. But then and then there's like the last few shots, which sounds like a totally different gun, and then there's the last shot, which is the sniper, the counter sniper, which sounds different. But it sounds like there's at least 3 guns, including the counter sniper, and one of them didn't have any echo, which the guy was saying would imply that he was shooting from inside the building. Again, I don't know how true that is. I've only seen the one person bring this up. Most people say the water tower, so I don't know what to think about it. But I do have a better theory, I think. I think it's a good theory. So I guess we gotta talk more about the BlackRock affiliation, since we're into the conspiracy angle. So he was in this, it wasn't a very long ad, but the shooter was in this ad for BlackRock. BlackRock went out into the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Pennsylvania, and was like, oh, hey, we're gonna have like 3 people in this commercial, and oh, it just so happens that this is one of them. That guy is like literally one of the guys. Now, BlackRock is one of those companies that have really been pushing this DEI stuff. They're one of the big companies that back Disney, even though Disney keeps digging its own grave. So yeah. Okay, I also want to bring this up. This is nothing to do with anything, but people keep saying that Trump's rhetoric caused this, but it's like, well, I don't know, I feel like I've gone over this in other videos, but like, when you demonize the man to the point of saying that he's a threat to democracy, and that he's gonna put you in a camp, and he's Hitler and the devil, and just everything horrible, it's like, yeah, that you can't say, you can't take all of these clips of Trump out of context, and then say he's a threat to democracy and all of this stuff. It's like, again, I'm sorry, I phrased that wrong because it's tired. I'm tired. It's 30 minutes after. I should have ended by now. But you can't go around and say that Trump caused this by saying stuff that you've taken out of context, and then you say all of this stuff about him, and then say that, oh, but I didn't have anything to do with it, though. That's a double standard, and it's foolish. Okay, so I've dispelled that. Can't believe I have to dispel shit like this. Just ridiculous. Okay. So we're going to talk about the Trump timeline. So Trump announces his presidency, right? The media give him a lot of coverage. They think he's a joke. He's not going to win. He ends up winning. Then they try impeaching him with this by saying that he colluded with Russia. Then they did this years-long investigation into it. They don't come out with anything. They're like, oh fuck, okay, alright, whatever. And then he goes to court over some financial stuff from 2005, and they try to have him thrown in jail. Okay? And just all these court cases, some of which judges have ruled to be unconstitutional. You know, and it didn't stop him at all. And it's like, when you go through and you call people names, that doesn't work. When you impeach them, and that doesn't work. When you demonize him, and that doesn't work. When you try throwing him in jail, that doesn't work. What are you left with? I'll tell you what you're left with. You're left with this. This is the only thing. This is the only thing you haven't tried yet. So I just want to also submit that in for your own thoughts, I guess. So there's that. Now, what I am deeply concerned about, and this is also very suspicious, so you've got the whole attempted assassination of Trump, and now I'm in the belief that this wasn't like, because I see people saying, oh, it was Joe Biden. That's so ridiculous. Joe Biden doesn't know that he's dropped out of the election. Let alone put a hit out on Trump. That's foolish. That's dumb. But you know who would put a hit out on Trump? The deep state. the very people that Trump hates and is trying to go after. Like, yeah, those people would probably like to see Trump 6 feet under. If you don't believe in the deep state, then you're kind of a fool, because you need to look into the military-industrial complex, which is proven to be a real thing, and is still a real thing. Yeah, that's the birth of it there. So if he pulls out, does that mean Trump automatically wins? Is it because he was in Home Alone? No, they're gonna anoint Kamala as their candidate. I say anoint because she was not voted for at all. But she's gonna be the candidate, even though Joe Biden got all of the votes. Anyway, moving away from that, because that's totally irrelevant. The deep state, like I was saying, I am concerned because, well, I guess not anymore, because Joe Biden is pulling out of the race. But while he was still in the race, my concern was for him, because to me, if the deep state, and again, this is all, I want to say that this is all a theory, literally, in Minecraft. And I am not saying that this is the truth at all, and like I said, just a theory. That it is not proven to be true at all, so you can't come after me. If the deep state failed at killing Trump, and they're obviously not happy with Biden because they don't want Trump to win, and if Biden was in, basically you're guaranteed a loss. I feel like they could have pointed to this attempted assassination attempt and been like, hey, yo, this could be you next. Again, I think the timing of Joe Biden dropping. I mean, I know he's got COVID, but that's also kind of suspicious that he gets COVID like right around this time. I don't know. Everything is suspicious at this point because there's no transparency whatsoever, and we're left to assume things. Yes, I did see that. I think he's a piece of shit for making that joke. Like I think Mark Hamill is a piece of shit for making fun of Trump's bandage. Like, bro, I feel like Mark Hamill of all people should know not to make fun of stuff like that, considering he got his face fucked up in an accident. And I don't think that he would appreciate people going around being like, oh, your face is fucked up, LOL. I don't know. So yeah, I was worried that the deep state could go after Joe Biden in retribution. Well, quote-unquote retribution, making it seem like that's what it was. Just to get him out of the way. Oh, and the Pepsi Mall cop is not only a friend of Jill Ratched, but Dick Cheney as well. And I'm not saying that these are people that would be involved in the deep state. Okay, so moving on. Oh, and they also couldn't have ID'd the shooter based off of facial recognition because his face got exploded like a fucking watermelon. Okay, the last thing that I want to bring up, and this is what I think is the real nail in the coffin for, again, my theory that isn't true, so you can't sue me over it. But, so a investment firm that's owned by BlackRock, the same company that has had contact with the shooter, who would definitely be part of this, or who definitely would not be part. I want to make this very clear. They definitely would not be a part of the deep state, BlackRock. So they had connections to the shooter. The shooter also had connections with DHS agents, because, again, they trained at the same shooting range, apparently, which is just really odd. And this investment firm for BlackRock shorted Trump stocks, 12 million shares, right before the assassination. And what that means is it's basically high risk, high reward. You could lose everything, or you could make a lot of money if you're right or wrong. If you think the stock is going to dip and you short it, you make a lot of money. But they shorted it 12 million stocks, and then as soon as, I think it was like an hour after Trump was reported to be okay, they were like, oh, we made a mistake. It was an accident, a clerical error. Like, okay. Well, hey, I'll leave on this, but I gotta go to sleep. Alright, well, you feel better, Slicks, and you have a good night. I'll be finishing here in just a sec. Oh yeah, and did I mention that this investment firm has Some of their top investors are the Rothschilds, BlackRock, Vanguard, Meta, George Bush, and the Cheney family. So there's, again, a large group of people that definitely would not be involved in the deep state. Definitely would have nothing to do with that. Yeah. So, in conclusion, my theory is that this deep state, again, that I haven't mentioned anyone who could possibly be involved in this deep state. Haven't at all mentioned anyone in this video who could possibly be a part of that. Basically contacted the shitstick who, by all accounts, are, well, I mean, I guess, yeah, by pretty much all accounts, was a pretty quiet kid, but still was, you know, left-leaning. And they were basically like, yeah, we can help you do this. I think people were saying that he expected to, like, for this to be a suicide mission. I don't see that, because again, he went through the entire effort of making all of those bombs, but yet he didn't detonate any of those bombs. To me, I think that he was expecting to get out of there to do something with the bombs later, or someone was going to come through and do something with the bombs. Possibly that same person was the person who gave him his gun. I don't know, but I would assume that he would have help, because like I said, I don't think he could do the blasting caps on his own without any help or without looking it up online. He's got the offshore bank accounts, which the deep state could absolutely, you know, fill, and there would be no way to trace it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I can't say that this is incompetence, because there's too much incompetence. You know, you've got all of the people repeatedly saying, hey, there's a dude with a gun on the roof, or there's a suspicious looking dude, and they just never detained him. They had Trump take the stage despite the fact they knew he was on the roof. They didn't have anybody stationed on the roof. There's this ridiculous Pac-Man range that you can see here. I'm sorry, incompetence just doesn't cut it on this. And the fact that Cheadle won't talk about it, and that I guess it would be the director of the DHS, or head of DHS, whatever, is trying to tell her to, like, shut the fuck up. And again, you've got all of this, hey, we're not gonna beef up your security, despite the fact, or, well, I mean, I guess they say they did, but they really didn't. If you were at all watching the event, that was not beefed up security. Yeah, yeah. I've said all the facts that I have found out there. I've given some theories. I've given my personal theory. And I've explained to you why I think that. If you'd like to hear more, or if you have any thoughts, especially if you have any thoughts, I'd love you to leave a comment down below, 'cause that would just be great. I'm interested in anything anyone has to say about this, because I want to get to the bottom of it, because again, it don't pass the smell test. But yeah, again, if I got anything wrong, if you want to add anything, yeah, just let me know. Or if you want me to go back and maybe, because I'll rewatch this and I'm sure there's some things I've left out. or some things that I feel like I need to add on. So it's possible I could do a second video on this if you want to see it, or if I want to make it, I guess. I might do an update around the time that the FBI report comes out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, Slicks. Thank you to anyone else who may have tuned in for this different video. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to the YouTube crowd who's gonna like and subscribe, god damn it. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.